Hi everyone, so now we're going to look at feeding your starter, which you're going to do 14 times. That might take 14 days or it might take a little bit less than that depending on how it goes for you. So when you go to feed your starter, the first thing you're going to do is take your ruler. Again, I still don't have one, but you will have one. Take your ruler, find the height of the starter. That can be a little bit tricky if you, like me, were sloppy with the sides. So you'll record the height of your starter, make any observations of it. So I'm going to take the napkin off. This one is a little different than the one you guys are using. This is cake flour. And so one thing I noticed is that it has a layer of liquid inside it. Let's see if you guys can see that without me dumping it out. It's hard to see, but you'll know it when you see it. So this one is actually on day 8, I guess. I started this a while ago. And so that liquid layer is called hooch because it has alcohol in it. And basically it means the yeast is hungry. So this happened to this starter yesterday. And so I'm feeding this one on every 12 hours instead of every 24 hours, which is also what you should do. The next thing you should do is smell it. Try to match your perception to the aroma wheel. So this one kind of smells like porridge or glue. It doesn't have a super strong aroma. The next thing I'm going to do is take your trusty plastic spoon and I'm going to mix it. This is especially important if you have that liquid layer because you want that to be part of your pH measurements. Okay, so I'm going to mix it. And then you're going to remove about a tablespoon. So if you don't have a tablespoon, if you're just using your plastic spoon, the tablespoon is about 3 scoops with your little plastic spoon. I do have a tablespoon, so I'm going to use that. So before I do that, I'm going to get my pH strip out. So again, remember, try not to touch this end, this one. Okay, so I'm going to remove about a tablespoon of my starter every time I feed it, or 3 little plastic spoon scoops if you're using that instead. Then I'm going to hold my pH paper on my starter for about 10 seconds. And then I'm just going to discard the starter. So if you kept all the starter every time, you would end up with way more starter than you could use. And way more than would fit in the jar you have. So I'm going to dry this off. And again, it's tricky since we don't really have, since it's not just a plain liquid. But this looks sort of 4.5 or 5 to me. So I would record that, 4.5 to 5. I already removed my 1 tablespoon. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a tablespoon of water and a tablespoon plus a teaspoon of flour. So if you're using your plastic spoon, that's adding 3 plastic spoons of water or 4.5 to 5 plastic spoons of flour. Okay, so like I said, a tablespoon of flour. Sorry, that's 4/3 of a tablespoon, which is a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. And then a tablespoon of dechlorinated water. Alright, and then I'm going to mix that all together, again trying to keep it away from the sides as much as I can. Okay, so that's all done. Now I'm going to put a new napkin on it because I got this one yucky. And I'm using a rubber band, but if you're using the twist-on ring, that's fine too. All right, so you're going to do that with your starter every day at about the same time. It doesn't have to be perfect, but every day until you start seeing that liquid layer on top, and then you're going to start doing it twice a day. And that's maintaining your starter.